I found my wife's secret bank account with $250, $0 I never knew about. Then she suddenly filed for divorce claiming I manipulated her out of everything, including our family home worth $500, $0. And now her lawyer is threatening litigation over the estate I built from scratch. Hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now, let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons, with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. I never thought I'd be the guy who gets blindsided like this, but here I am, sitting in my living room with my head spinning after what I found out. It all started a few weeks ago when I noticed some weird bank activity. At first, I thought it was just some automatic payments or maybe a mistake, but then I stumbled upon something that made my stomach drop. My wife, Lisa, had a secret bank account with $250, $0 in it. I didn't even know she had that kind of money tucked away. We've been married for 8 years. I built my own marketing business from scratch, working long hours, sacrificing weekends and pushing through every obstacle with the hope of providing a good life for us. Lisa, on the other hand, always seemed a little too interested in shopping, designer clothes, and luxury vacations. But I never suspected she'd be hiding money from me, let alone $250,000. It all came to a head when I was going through our joint account statements. We were planning to buy a new house, something we'd talked about for months, and I wanted to see the current balance. That's when I saw the transfer, a huge sum moved from her personal account to this secret account. I looked closer and found a bunch of transactions that didn't make sense. It wasn't just savings, it was money she'd been funneling away over the past year. And the worst part, she'd been lying about her finances all along. I couldn't just ignore it. I started digging deeper. I checked her emails, her texts, everything. That's when I found the messages. She was having an affair. I don't mean a little flirtation. I mean full-blown sex with some guy named Brett. They'd been meeting up late at night, exchanging dirty texts and even talking about moving in together. I saw the explicit messages, the photos. It was like a punch to the gut. I confronted her that night. I was furious, hurt, and confused all at once. I told her I knew about Brett, about the secret account, about everything. Her face twisted into this bitchy smirk like she thought she was the clever one. Her excuse, that I was paranoid, that I was manipulating her out of her own money and her own life. She said I was controlling, that I never let her breathe, that she needed something for herself, that I was just a manipulative husband who kept her chained down. She denied everything at first, then started throwing out more lies, saying Brett was just a friend, that I was imagining things, that I was jealous and insecure. But I was. I knew the truth. I saw enough. The money, the sex, the lies, everything was right there in front of me. That night, I felt a mix of rage and heartbreak. How could she do this? How could she betray everything we built? I poured myself a drink and stared at the ceiling, trying to process what I'd just learned. It was like my entire world was crashing down. I kept asking myself, how long has this been going on? Did she ever really love me? Did I mean anything to her at all? I kept replaying all the little signs I missed, her late nights, the secretive phone calls, her sudden interest in expensive jewelry and clothes I never saw her buy before. All those moments suddenly made sense in a horrible new way. But what hurt even more was realizing how much she was lying to my face. She's always been a bit bitchy, yeah, but I never thought she'd be this good at hiding her true self. Now I'm stuck in this terrible limbo. Do I confront her again? Do I fight for my marriage? Or do I just cut my losses and walk away? I honestly don't know. All I do know is that I'm not the same person I was a month ago. I feel betrayed, angry, and somehow numb all at once. And the biggest shock, the fact that she's filing for divorce now, claiming I manipulated her out of everything, including our family home, which she's saying is worth $500,000. It's like she's trying to rewrite the story, make me the bad guy when I was the one working my ass off to make a life for us. And her lawyer, they're threatening litigation over the estate, claiming I've been controlling and draining her. But the truth is, I just found out she's been cheating, lying, and hiding money from me. And now I have to figure out what's next. After discovering everything, I couldn't sleep. My mind kept racing over what I'd found. The secret account, the affair, her accusations, everything hit me like a ton of bricks. I started questioning myself. Did I miss the signs? Was I blind? Or was she just really good at hiding who she truly was? I decided I needed to get some clarity, so I hired a private investigator. I wanted proof, something concrete I could show her lawyer if it came to that. Turns out, she'd been seeing Brett for almost a year. They met at that little boutique hotel downtown, the one I never thought much about. It was always just a quick business trip or a weekend getaway. I found hotel receipts, timestamps, photos of her sneaking out at night. It was all there. While I was digging, I also found out she'd been draining the savings in the secret account. She transferred money to her own personal investments, possibly trying to hide assets. I was furious. That money wasn't just some secret stash, it was our future. That's what she kept saying she wanted, and now I see she's been using it for her own selfish needs. But the most shocking part was how she turned the tables during our confrontation. I told her I knew about Brett, about the account. Her reaction: she called me paranoid, accused me of spying on her, said I was the one manipulating her. She said I controlled her too much, that I made her feel trapped. Her words felt like poison. I remember her saying, "You don't own me, Jack. I need to breathe, and if that means I have to lie or cheat to get some space, so be it." That moment I felt a deep sting. I'd always tried to be a good husband. I was the guy who worked late, paid the bills, supported her dreams. And now I was the villain in her story. I watched her lie through her teeth, denying everything, even the sex with Brett. She insisted it was just a fling, that she loved me, that she'd never cheat. But her words were hollow, and I could see the guilt behind her eyes. I felt my heart pounding with anger, but also with sadness. How did we get to this point? I built my company from nothing, worked my ass off, and trusted her with everything. And now I realize I was just a paycheck to her. She was looking for something else. Money, excitement, maybe just someone who'd give her what she wanted without question. That night I sat in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering what I did wrong. Was it me, or was she always like this? I started to see her in a new light, bitchy, manipulative, a master at hiding her true self behind a pretty face. I kept asking myself, how could I have been so blind? The next morning, I filed for a copy of her financial records through her lawyer. I wanted everything on paper. I needed to see the full scope of her lies. I also started preparing for what was coming. I knew she'd try to spin this, try to make me look like the bad guy. She already was claiming I manipulated her out of the house, out of her money, that she was the victim. Honestly, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. It's one thing to suspect your spouse is cheating, but to find out she's been hiding hundreds of thousands of dollars and lying about everything. That's a whole new level of betrayal. I thought I knew her. I thought we had something real. And now, I wasn't sure of anything anymore. I looked around our house, all the memories, the furniture, the photos, everything that once felt like us. Now it just felt like a trap. I wondered if I should fight for the marriage or just cut my losses. Part of me wanted to believe there's hope, that maybe she'd come clean and we could fix this. But deep down, I knew it was probably too late. She's filed for divorce now, claiming I manipulated her out of everything, that I drained her, that I kept her from her happiness. It's laughable, really. If she only knew how much I sacrificed, how much I trusted her. And now she's threatening to take everything I worked for, our family home, the savings, the future I'd planned. I have lawyers and I've started gathering evidence. I don't plan to let her walk away with everything, not without a fight. But honestly, part of me just feels numb. I keep asking myself, how did I get here? How did I miss all these signs? And most of all, how do I pick up the pieces now? I still love her, or I did. But love doesn't fix lies, betrayal, and stolen money. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. How to move forward, how to rebuild after this mess. Because right now, I feel like I've lost more than just a wife. I've lost my sense of trust, my sense of security, and maybe a part of myself. The days that followed were a blur of lawyer meetings, financial reviews, and endless sleepless nights. I started to realize that this wasn't just about her cheating or hiding money. It was about the complete erosion of trust. Every time I thought about her sneaking around with Brett, I'd get this sick feeling in my stomach, like I'd been punched in the chest. It's one thing to suspect infidelity, but to find concrete proof and see her lying to my face. That's a different level of betrayal. I spent hours digging through her phone, her emails, her social media accounts. She was careless at times, leaving behind little clues, texts she forgot to delete, photos from Brett's Instagram. She'd even joked once about how she was getting away with it, and I saw it all. It made me sick knowing she'd been betraying me and our marriage for so long. I kept thinking about how much money she'd been siphoning off that secret account, what she'd spent it on, who she'd met, what lies she told. The worst part was how she kept spinning her stories. Every time I confronted her, she'd deny everything, say I was crazy, paranoid, or that I was controlling her. She'd throw out words like manipulation, gaslighting, and abuse. It was like she was trying to turn me into the bad guy so she could walk away feeling justified. Her bitchy attitude was on full display, snide comments, eye rolls, that dismissive tone she always used when she thought she was better than everyone else. One day, I finally decided to confront her directly, face to face. I told her I knew about Brett, about the secret account, about everything. Her reaction. She looked at me with this disgusted expression like I was the one who'd betrayed her. She said, "You're so paranoid, Jack. You think I'm cheating because you don't trust me. Maybe you're the one who's manipulative." I couldn't believe the audacity. She was trying to gaslight me into thinking I was the crazy one. I told her I had proof, screenshots, bank statements, hotel receipts. I laid it all out on the table. Her face twisted into a snarl, then she started crying fake tears, trying to act innocent. She said she was just lonely, that Brett was just a distraction, that she didn't mean for it to happen. But I knew better. I'd seen the messages. I'd seen the photos of her sneaking out at night, the times she lied about where she was. That moment, I realized how good she was at lying. She could look me in the eye and make me doubt myself. She was so bitchy, so manipulative, that I almost believed her for a second. Almost, but deep down, I knew the truth. I knew she'd been cheating on me for months, hiding money from me, and now she was trying to spin it all around to make me look like the bad guy. It hurt more than I can put into words. I thought I was building a future, a life with her. And now I was faced with the reality that I was just a pawn in her game. Every dollar I earned, every sacrifice I made, it was just fuel for her lies. She's filing for divorce, claiming I manipulated her out of everything. Our house, our savings, our future. That's her version of the story. But I know the real story. I was the one working hard. She was the one sneaking around, hiding money and lying about her feelings. I started to get angry, not just at her, but at myself for not seeing it sooner. How could I have been so blind? I thought I knew her. I thought she loved me. But now I see she was just using me, using my trust, my money, our life together, to feed her own selfish needs. The house we bought together, the investments I made, all of. It feels like it's slipping away. Her lawyer is already threatening litigation, claiming I've manipulated her out of everything. I've hired my own lawyer now. I'm preparing for a fight. I want to protect what's mine, not just the money, but my dignity, my sense of justice. I know she's trying to spin this as me being the bad guy, but I have proof of her infidelity, her lies, her secret accounts. I'm not going down without a fight. But even as I do all this, I can't help but feel hollow inside. How did I let it get this far? How did I miss all the signs? I put everything into that marriage, my time, my money, my trust, and now it feels like it was all for nothing. I keep replaying the moment I found her secret account. The shock, the anger, the disbelief. It's a wound that won't heal. And yet somehow I know I have to move on. I can't let her win. I won't be the guy who gets played and thrown aside. I've built something from nothing, and I refuse to let her take that away from me. I have the evidence, I have my lawyer in. I have a decision to make. Do I fight for what's rightfully mine, or do I walk away and try to forget it all? Honestly, I don't know yet. But I do know this. I will not be the victim of her lies anymore. The legal process has been a nightmare. Every day feels like a new battle, and I've come to realize just how manipulative Lisa can be when she's cornered. She's already spinning stories about how I manipulated her out of her money, how I controlled her every move, how I was the real villain in this whole mess. Her lawyer, a slick guy named Carter, is doing his best to paint me as some kind of abusive, controlling husband who forced her into hiding her wealth and cheating. But I've got proof, screenshots, bank statements, hotel receipts, messages. I've turned it all over to my lawyer, and I'm waiting for the court to see the truth. Still, the emotional toll is draining. Every time I step into a hearing, I feel like I'm fighting not just for my assets but for my sanity. Lisa's bitchy attitude, her constant lies, her manipulative smirk, they all haunt me. She's trying to paint herself as the victim, claiming I was abusive or controlling, but I know the truth. The more she pushes her narrative, the more I realize how much she's willing to lie just to save herself. She's accusing me of draining the joint account, of trying to manipulate her into giving up her rights, all while secretly sneaking bread into our bed. It's infuriating. I feel like I'm dealing with a master manipulator who's willing to destroy everything we built just to save her own skin. Meanwhile, she's trying to turn the kids against me. She's telling them I'm a bad father, that I don't care about them, that I only care about my money. It's classic Lisa, bitchy, selfish, and willing to lie to everyone to get what she wants. It's hard to stay calm when I hear her spinning these stories, but I know I have to keep my head. I have to stay focused on the facts, on the evidence. I also found out she's been talking to her lawyer about claiming the house, our family home worth around $500, $0, as her own. She says I manipulated her out of it, but the truth is, I bought that house with my savings, with no help from her. She's trying to act innocent, but I know she's planning to take it all, just like she's trying to take the savings and the investments I made from scratch. It's not just about money anymore. It's about respect, about fairness, about being betrayed by someone I trusted with everything. I keep replaying the moments when I realized she was cheating, how I felt, what I thought I could do differently. I keep asking myself if I missed the signs or if I was just too blind to see her true nature. One thing I've learned, women like Lisa can be very good at hiding their true colors. She's bitchy, manipulative, and incredibly selfish. She's willing to lie, cheat, and manipulate her way out of everything just to get what she wants. And now, she's trying to turn the legal system into her weapon to destroy me. I've also started to realize how much anger I've been suppressing. Every time I see her smirk or hear her spin her lies, I get this overwhelming urge to just scream. But I keep it in. I know I need to stay composed for the sake of the kids, for my own sanity. But inside, I'm boiling with rage. I want her to pay for what she's done, every lie, every betrayal, every dollar she stole from us. My lawyer told me I should prepare for a long fight. That Lisa's lawyer is a shark, and she's no stranger to manipulating the courts. I've already started documenting everything: my business records, our financial statements, her texts and emails. I want the court to see the full picture. That she's been lying from the start, hiding assets, cheating on me, and trying to steal our life. It's a hard pill to swallow, knowing that I gave her everything: my love, my trust, my hard-earned money, and she just used it to feed her own greed and selfishness. I keep telling myself I'll get through this, that I'll come out stronger. But right now, I'm just exhausted. Every day feels like a war, and I don't know how much longer I can keep fighting. I've started thinking about what I want my life to look like after all this. Do I want to stay and try to rebuild what's left? Or do I walk away and start over? Honestly, I'm leaning toward the latter. I don't think I can trust Lisa anymore, not after all the lies and betrayal. I deserve better. My kids deserve better. And I refuse to let her take everything from me without a fight. The hardest part, accepting that my marriage is probably over, that the woman I loved and trusted turned out to be someone I barely recognize now. I keep telling myself I'll get through this, but some nights I just lie awake, replaying everything, wondering how I let it all happen. How I was so blind to her bitchy side, her manipulative nature. How I missed the signs until it was too late. But I know one thing: I won't be the victim of her lies forever. I've got proof, I've got my lawyer, and I'll do whatever it takes to protect what's mine. Because at the end of the day, betrayal like this doesn't just hurt, it changes you. And I'm determined not to let her win. The court hearings have been a whirlwind. Every session feels like a battle, and Lisa's lawyer, Carter, is relentless. He's good, slick, manipulative, and skilled at twisting facts to fit her narrative. He claims I manipulated her out of her money, that I forced her into hiding assets, and that I was controlling and abusive. That I, Jack, am the villain in this story. It's infuriating. I sit there listening to his lies knowing I have mountains of proof that say otherwise. I've turned over everything: bank statements, emails, texts, hotel receipts, even the private investigator's reports. I want the court to see the full picture. Lisa, been cheating, lying, hiding assets, and trying to cheat her way out of her responsibilities. I've been working my ass off to build a life for us, and now she's trying to take it all away under the guise of being the victim. Her lawyer's doing his best to paint me as the controlling villain, but I've got evidence to prove the opposite. One day, during a particularly tense hearing, Lisa's lawyer brought up the house, our family home. She's claiming I manipulated her into giving up her rights, that I forced her out of it. I had to fight to present the proof that I bought that house with my own money, that it was our family's sanctuary, not something I coerced her into. I even brought in a contractor to testify about the renovations I paid for, the mortgage payments I made, proof that I was the one who invested in that house. Lisa sat there with her bitchy smirk, trying to look innocent as she threw out more lies. She said I was controlling her, that I kept her from her money, that I manipulated her into giving up her rights. But I knew better. I knew she was desperately trying to save her own ass. She'd been sneaking around with Brett for months, hiding assets, and now she was trying to spin it all into some kind of victim story. The court's decision is still pending, but I can see the way the judge is looking at her. There's skepticism there. I think they're starting to see through her bullshit. I've been steadily building my case, and I know I have enough to prove she's been lying all along. She's trying to claim I drained the joint account, that I manipulated her into signing documents she didn't understand. That's just her bitchy way of trying to pin everything on me. But I also realize this isn't just about the court or the money anymore. It's about my dignity, about standing up for myself after being blindsided by her lies. I've lost trust in her, and I'm starting to accept that maybe this marriage is beyond saving. She's proven she's willing to lie, cheat, and manipulate her way out of any responsibility, and I can't be part of that anymore. Sometimes I catch myself wondering if I could have done something differently, if there was a sign I missed. But deep down, I know the truth. I was loyal, hardworking, and trusting. She was the one who betrayed that trust. That realization is bitter, but it's also freeing. I no longer want to be with someone who's so bitchy, so selfish, so manipulative. I've been talking to friends, family, even a counselor. They tell me I'm doing the right thing, protecting myself, my kids, and what's left of my sanity. I've started to plan for a future without her, a future where I rebuild from the wreckage she left behind. I want to start fresh, with honest people, with integrity. I've also come to terms with the fact that she might try to take everything she can, our house, the savings, the investments, but I'm prepared. I've got legal representation and I've documented everything. I won't let her steal what I've worked so hard for. I know she's bitchy and manipulative, but I also know her game, and I'm ready to fight it. The hardest part now is accepting that I might not get the closure I want, that she may walk away, claiming victory while I'm left to pick up the pieces. But I've learned a lot through this ordeal. I've learned to trust my instincts, to stand up for myself, and to see people for who they really are. Lisa was never the person I thought she was. She was just good at hiding her true self behind a pretty face and bitchy attitude. So I keep telling myself, I will survive this. I will come out of it stronger. And one day, I'll look back and realize this was just a chapter, one that I had to go through to become the man I'm meant to be. I refuse to be a victim of her lies any longer. I deserve better, and I will get what's rightfully mine. The final court date came and went, and I felt like I'd been running a marathon that never really ended. Lisa showed up with her bitchy smirk, trying to look innocent as if everything she did was justified. Her lawyer Carter was doing his best to spin her version of the story, how I manipulated her, drained her, controlled her. But I had the evidence, and I made sure the judge saw it all. The bank statements, the hotel receipts, the messages, the private investigator's report. In the end, the judge didn't buy her lies. The court ruled in my favor on most counts. I was awarded the house, the investments, and the savings. Everything she'd tried to steal or claim was rightfully mine. Lisa was furious, but she knew she'd lost. Her bitchy attitude only intensified as she stormed out of the courtroom, yelling about how I destroyed her life. I just watched her go, feeling a strange mixture of relief and emptiness. Walking out of that courtroom, I felt like I'd finally taken back control of my life. I'd fought for what was mine and I'd won. The betrayal still stung, knowing she'd been cheating, lying, and trying to ruin me. But I also felt a strange sense of liberation. I realized that I'd spent too much time trying to fix something that was broken beyond repair. My trust was shattered and her manipulative bitchiness had been the nail in the coffin. After all the chaos settled, I started the process of rebuilding. I sold the house, moved into a smaller place and focused on my kids. They deserved stability and honesty, and I promised myself I'd give them that. I cut ties with Lisa completely. No more calls, no more texts. I wanted to erase her from my life as much as possible. I learned that some people, especially bitchy, manipulative ones, aren't worth the pain they cause. Looking back, I see this as a hard but valuable lesson. I trusted the wrong person, and I paid the price. But I also learned to trust myself more, to listen to my instincts, to recognize the signs of manipulation and betrayal before it's too late. I learned that money and material things are nothing compared to honesty and integrity. And I learned that sometimes the best revenge is simply walking away and rebuilding yourself from the ground up. Now I focus on my future. I've started a new business, one that's more aligned with my passions. I've reconnected with friends and family who support me, and I've finally found peace with the fact that I was betrayed by someone I loved, by someone I trusted. It hurts, but it also made me stronger. If there's one thing I want others to take from this, it's that no matter how bad things seem, you can come out of it. Trust your gut. Don't ignore the signs. And never let anyone manipulate or steal from you without fighting back. Because in the end, the truth always finds a way to surface, and justice, even if delayed, will prevail. I'm not perfect and I still have scars, but I'm moving forward. And I know that one day I'll look back at this nightmare and see it as the catalyst for a better, stronger version of myself. That's what really matters.